For more than a decade, humanoid robots have existed in a strange in-between state. They looked incredible, went viral repeatedly, and performed stunts that seemed almost impossible. But after the clips ended, nothing followed. No large-scale deployment, no clear economic role, no serious integration into the real world. That changed at CES, where a humanoid robot didn't just perform for attention. It arrived with industrial backing, a deployment roadmap, and a reason to exist. This is Atlas, and this moment marks the transition of humanoid robotics from speculation to inevitability. CES is famous for spectacle rather than substance. Every year we see flying cars that never ship, futuristic gadgets that quietly disappear, and concept devices designed mainly for headlines. So when Hyundai Motor Group and Boston Dynamics unveiled Atlas on stage, many people assumed it was just another impressive demo. That assumption misses what actually happened. This was not a research prototype or a viral experiment. It was a production intent humanoid robot presented as a future worker, and that framing matters far more than any acrobatics. Atlas stood upright, walked deliberately, and moved with controlled, human-scale balance. There was no exaggerated choreography, no attempt to steal the show. Instead, it was introduced with the quiet confidence of something designed to leave the stage and enter factories. The message was subtle but unmistakable. This robot is not here to entertain. It is here to work. Atlas itself is not new. Boston Dynamics has been developing humanoid robots for years, and the earlier versions became famous for parkour, flips, and extreme mobility. Those robots were hydraulic, which made them powerful and visually stunning, but also impractical. Hydraulic systems are loud, complex, energy inefficient, and expensive to maintain. They are excellent for research and terrible for scale. The Atlas revealed at CES is fundamentally different because it is fully electric, and that single design decision changes everything. Electric actuation makes Atlas quieter, cleaner, more efficient, and dramatically easier to maintain. It lowers operating costs and enables scalability, which is the difference between a laboratory marvel and an industrial product. This is the same transition that allowed electric vehicles to move from niche experiments to mainstream adoption. Boston Dynamics didn't just redesign Atlas's body. They redesigned the economics of humanoid robotics, and that is why this reveal matters. The most important part of this story isn't Atlas itself. It's who stands behind it. Boston Dynamics is no longer operating as an independent research lab chasing viral moments. Hyundai acquired Boston Dynamics in 2021, and that acquisition was never about publicity. Hyundai is a manufacturing giant with massive factory footprints, complex supply chains, and constant labor challenges. They invest in robotics to solve real, expensive problems, not to generate headlines. Hyundai has already stated that Atlas is expected to be deployed in US manufacturing facilities later this decade. This is not speculative language. It signals that the cost, reliability, and capability thresholds have finally aligned. When a company of Hyundai's scale commits to humanoid robots, it means the math works. Humanoid robotics has crossed from impressive to economically viable. For years, critics asked why humanoid robots were even necessary. Wheeled robots are cheaper, fixed robotic arms are simpler, and automation already exists. That logic worked until it collided with reality. The world is built for humans, not machines. Stairs, ladders, narrow walkways, uneven floors, and human-scale tools dominate real environments. Non-humanoid robots either require expensive redesigns of those environments or hit a hard ceiling on flexibility. Humanoid robots reverse the equation by adapting to the world as it already exists. Atlas is not designed to replace conveyor belts or traditional industrial arms. It is designed to operate in spaces where humans already work, performing tasks that are too variable, physical, or unpredictable for conventional automation. This is why the humanoid form factor is no longer optional. It is inevitable. At CES, Atlas was partially teleoperated, and some people misinterpreted this as a limitation. In reality, it reveals a deeper truth about robotics development. Boston Dynamics solved motion first, balance, whole-body coordination, and dynamic movement, which is the hardest part of humanoid robotics. That problem has largely been solved. The real bottleneck now is intelligence, not mechanics. The critical question is no longer whether the robot can move, but whether it can decide. Can it understand its environment, recognize objects, adapt to new tasks, and recover from mistakes? This is where modern AI enters the picture. Advances in vision models, spatial reasoning, multimodal perception, and reinforcement learning are finally being applied to physical decision-making. Atlas is not just a robot. It is a physical platform waiting for intelligence, and that intelligence is improving at an accelerating pace. This shift is happening now, not 5 or 10 years ago, because 3 curves finally crossed. First, AI perception matured to the point where robots can reliably interpret complex environments. Second, hardware caught up, with electric motors, sensors, and energy density reaching a practical tipping point. Third, labor economics broke. Aging populations, labor shortages, and rising costs made automation a necessity rather than a choice. Atlas exists because the world finally demanded it. The implications are uncomfortable but unavoidable. Once humanoid robots work reliably in factories, they will not remain confined there. Warehouses, logistics centers, construction sites, and maintenance roles will follow over time. This does not mean humans disappear, but it does mean that physical labor becomes software-defined. Skills shift, roles evolve, and productivity becomes increasingly tied to AI-driven machines. The countries and companies that deploy this technology fastest will gain enormous leverage, economically, strategically, and industrially. Atlas is not just a machine, it is a signal that the balance of physical labor is beginning to change. Atlas is not perfect. It is not cheap, not fully autonomous yet, and not ready to replace humans overnight. That was never the point. Early smartphones were limited, and early electric cars were impractical. What mattered was direction. Atlas proves that humanoid robots are economically viable, that major manufacturers are committed, and that real deployment timelines now exist. From here, progress compounds through better AI, lower costs, and wider adoption. For years, humanoid robots felt like a promise that never arrived. CES changed that. Not because Atlas danced or flipped, but because it appeared with intent. A body designed for work, a company ready to deploy it, and a world that finally needs it. The age of physical AI didn't begin with hype. It began when a humanoid robot walked onto a stage and made it clear it wasn't going back to the lab.